We're going to be looking at how goodness and truth affect how we appear in the afterlife. How certain conditions can make us look like this, and then certain conditions can make us look friendly and happy and wonderful,
or,
like
or
this gentleman
at least
here.
differently looking or something.
Yeah. So, yes, Swedenborg would try to tell people about all these principles in like his book Secrets of Heaven, and then they were like, "Just tell us about you visited heaven and hell. What's going on there?
Tell me about that."
And really, heaven and hell. He wrote it with all these experiences, but always link back to, you put these little annotations in there. See Secrets of Heaven for this. See Secrets of Heaven for this. Because he wanted to show through these experiences how the underlying principles worked.
How it works. It's not just a list of experiences.
Yeah.
That's right. There's some point underneath there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
All of his stories are entertaining, but also informative. And this story we're going to look at now is looking at how goodness and truth can have an effect on how we appear in the other life. And there's a couple of characters in this story. And
wait, you're saying this is another goodness and truth thing?
That's right.
Okay,
this
cool.
Is another.
Right.
We're still on theme. We didn't leave the theme.
Okay,
show,
okay, good.
guys.
Cool. That's great. Even though we're on a road trip, we're still on the same theme.
No, man, you take your work with you on the road trip.
Good. Okay, great.
There's two characters in this story that I'd love you to give us a little background on here.
Okay, so I see this is Marius and Birchenius.
So this is Swedenborg saying he met these people in the spiritual world.
In the spiritual world,
but
who he had known when he was alive. I mean, he was alive the whole time in this world.
Yeah.
But he met them when they were alive in this world. And one was from his childhood. Marius was his childhood tutor. He was a distant relative, like a first cousin once removed or something like that, Johann Marius. And Birchenius was someone from his, a colleague from his career on the Board of Mines, where they were about assessing the metals and supervising. It was a huge part of the Swedish economy.
Okay.
And so Swedenborg was on this Board of Mines, and so was Birchenius. So one was someone he'd worked with very much, like studied under, another one who he'd worked with for decades, a long time. So he knew these people very well.
And so this is the story of when he met them in the spiritual world and got to see not just how they were doing, but how they were looking.
How they looked.
Which is what really matters.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. He says, this is from Spiritual Experiences 4717.
Okay.
I saw two who were good, and whom I had known in the world.
Marius and Birchenius.
Their faces looked entirely different than before, and I was asked whether I recognized them.
Oh, their faces changed? So they didn't look like Marius and Birchenius?
You know how maybe it's a dream when you're like, okay, you were there, but you didn't look like you.
Maybe you didn't look like yourself. Yeah, that's right.
But you could tell it was them, but they not because they looked exactly the same.
Right.
I said that I did not, and guessing finally discovered that it was
Birchenius.
It was a handsome, clear human face. He was seen in an open carriage because he was then meditating on the doctrine of charity. So that too was an appearance because of what was going on. The reason for this is that good joined with truth then shapes the face, meaning in the spiritual world, good joined with truth shapes our face. So it's not like here you see what shapes our faces is genetics and environmental
heredity,
factors, right?
And just whether you got hit in the head or whatever, right?
Yeah. And this is something that's coming out of the kind of heart and mind you're cultivating.
That's cool.
So he goes on to say, for every angel and good spirit is the form of his own good given a shape. And we learned what good is.
The form of good. Interesting.
So this harkens back to our truth and good. That you got the purpose of this. The purpose, that kind of health that lies within this is the form of that health.
Takes that form, right.
Right. So similarly, whatever is in the deep desires of us, we become an image of that, which is different because here you can be very handsome and be very evil. They don't go together.
There's no particular correlation.
He talks about that. He says those who are evil in the spiritual world, however, gradually shed their human form. And as to their faces, when seen in the light of heaven, do not look like human beings, but like monsters, deformed in various ways.
Ooh, that shedding sounds intense. Shedding the human form, forget about it. I'm moving away from that. Now, I'm interested that it says, when seen in the light of heaven. That's pretty important. Because Swedenborg does explain in other passages that there's what you might call, for lack of a better word, the light of hell.
Yes.
In which people look fine. It's only when heaven shines in, which it doesn't need to do all the time. But when heaven shines in, then you see, because heaven is the light of truth, like that shows you exactly what the person's really like.
Yeah.
And so that's useful sometimes, but the Lord permits that, no, you don't always have to see that.
No,
you know?
God's not interested in anything but letting people live as happily as they can in their condition.
That's right.
It's interesting that you shed the form of good, the human form, if you're not good. Because here we say, like, that's inhuman if you act a certain way. But human beings are the evilest thing you could ever find. I mean, like, the kind of crimes people commit, you never find, like, a tiger is never going to go to the same lengths. You know, why do we hold up, like, you're not acting like a human?
Pursuing the same vendetta for 30 years or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's because, or just killing needlessly or torturing, all kinds of stuff.
Right.
It's because I think we sense that the human form that we're in, you know, the eyes, the face, just like what a person is, there should be goodness that comes with that.
Yeah.
And that Swedenborg says that spiritually, here we retain our physical human form no matter what, but spiritually, if you lose that essential love and goodness, you reject the human form along with him.
People say someone's a monster. Like you hear that in the Holocaust sometimes, that someone was a monster or they were not human, or or more jokingly, like in football or something, they say someone's a beast and that kind of thing. But
there it really is. So Swedenborg goes on to say that the reason for this, the negative appearance, is that good that has been joined to truth by the Lord shapes the angelic heaven into a likeness of a human being. So if you reject that heaven, you reject the human
There goes the human
shape.
along with it, right?
Yep. On this account, all who are there are images of it according to the nature of their own good. The inwardly evil put off the human form in hell and look like monsters according to the nature of their evil. Ooh. And you think about horror movies or scary movies. How the bad guys are all like messed up human forms, like the scary it's just like
zombies, all that stuff.
That's right. It's like zombies a good example. This should be a human, but they're dead and they have rotting whatever.
Right.
It's this change on the human form.
Right.
You see Stranger Things, it's a sort of humanoid beast, but it doesn't have a face. It's like just a mouth. You know, that's the scary thing. Like those, spoiler alert, those sort of it's been a while, right, since the first season came out.
I think you're okay.
Those things are variations. It's how far you go from the human form.
Yeah. Wow. So this is saying that how we manage the good and truth thing while we're here actually affects how spiritually good looking we are in the other world.
So if for no other reason, like you want to look good,
beauty tips,
be good.
You heard it here first.
Be good. Goodness equals goodness in that world.